Seems to be that buying airplanes has become a lot more popular nowadays. Definitely, they have gotten more expensive. There's a lot more demand. In the last couple of years, I have bought 3 airplanes, one for a friend and 2 for myself, just before the market got crazy. But I can give some advice on how was my experience when looking for the airplane and what I found and what I liked, what I didn't like. Some people say wait until the market goes down. I don't think it is a good idea. Time is something we will never recover, and if you want to fly now, why wait a couple of years? I'm showing this float plane, a Cessna 185, to talk about the mission. The first and most important thing when thinking of buying an airplane is to think about the mission. What do you want it for? Do you want a float plane? Do you want just an airplane to fly around? Do you want an airplane to travel? You want a robotic airplane? There's so many different kind of flying that sometimes it can be even difficult to choose. Do you want Garmin 1000, a brand new airplane, a used old airplane? Another good option is to buy a kit and build the airplane yourself. That is a very popular option. With the prices of used airplanes, the new airplanes are not that expensive anymore compared to the old ones. Do you want to have a hauler that can carry a lot of cargo? The Cessna 206 is a very popular airplane for this. They are expensive because they're in high demand. Or you want a traveling airplane that goes fast. The Mooney is great for this kind of operation and can do it economically. Piper Super Cups are very popular and in high demand. They're expensive and hard to find. Cirrus sells more new airplanes than any other certified manufacturer. These airplanes are great for traveling, they're safe, they include a airplane parachute, so that makes it a lot more popular for traveling long distances with the family. So once you make up your mind of the mission, there are plenty of websites where you can look for airplanes. Be patient and take your time. Look for red flags. In my case, my very first airplane was a Cessna 182. I bought it the day I solo when I was flight student in Costa Rica. Initially I wanted a Cessna 180, but I could not find any in Costa Rica. This airplane was a bargain. It only had 36 hours in the engine and propeller. Firewall forward, everything was new. I didn't know much about airplanes at that time, so I asked my instructor for recommendations. My mission was clear, was backcountry flyer since the beginning, and he recommended me the Cessna 182. The paint was pretty good. Instrument panel was just standard, nothing special, but not horrible. It had about 3,000 hours on the airframe. It had the Horton stall kit and flapjack seals. From the start it was a pretty good performer, but I wanted to do some really backcountry flying in short strips and tight strips, so I had in mind some modifications. So that is another option. You have your mission in mind. You can buy a plane that can suit the mission, make some modification, and make it work very well for what you want. During this filming, the airplane had the sportsman stall PGs angle of attack indicator, and empty propeller. This is a few years later with a new paint scheme and a P-Punk engine with 280 horsepower. With this engine and all the stall modifications, this 182 became a really good performer. Also added 850 tires on the mains and a 700 on the nose. If you don't know much about the airplane you want to buy, the best idea is to ask people who know about those airplanes. Like for example, this happened when I bought my Cessna 170 and my CJ6 Stanchion. For the Cessna 170, I told Jughead, my friend who has one, to help me find one. First we went to look at this Cessna 175 with tailwheel conversion. Initially looked good from the pictures, but once we went there to look at it, for me it looked fine, but Jughead is an expert and he told me he had some issues, so we walked away from that one. And I'm glad we did walk away, and this is the kind of thing that a friend that knows the airplane can help a lot. Then I went to Oregon to look a couple of more Cessna 170s. Did a good walk around, even we went flying. I didn't like the way it flew. It was kind of, to fly straight you have to turn the yoke to one side. Also I think the alignment on the landing gear wasn't perfect because it was very squirrely on the ground. Let's look at the flight. I did some slow flight and stalls to get a feeling of the airplane. This airplane can fly really slow, and when we do the stall, the nose drop a bit steep, but it goes straight. Now we're going to practice a short field landing. We're coming with 40 degrees of flaps. The altitude of this airport is about 3,600 feet, so the ground speed is a little bit higher than at sea level. My advice is ask for advice, don't rush it, be patient, look the books carefully, look at the airplane carefully, corrosion, the engine, fly the airplane. Approach slow speed. This airplane has no VGs or no stall kit, it's just a stock wing. These airplanes were not made for the backcountry, but with some modifications are great backcountry airplanes. And it lands pretty short. This one had lots of corrosion, so I walk away from that one too. These pictures are of the Cessna 170 I bought. This airplane was fully restored. It had the Lycoming 180 horsepower engine, which is the one I wanted. It had a Sportsman stall, which is something also I wanted. It had an empty propeller, which I wanted. New instrument panel, new wiring, new cables. New instrument panel, which is simple but very nice. Airframe, about 3,000 hours. Lycoming 180 horsepower with 320 hours. Empty propeller with 320 hours. So this 170 had almost everything I wanted. I only added micro aerial VGs and the angle of attack indicator, and it has been performing really nice. I was lucky to find this airplane, and it was a really good buy. It was nice to have help from friends and advice. So since this was fully restored, I didn't do a pre-buy inspection. I just went by myself, flew it, look at the books, look at the plane, and bought it. I always have been wanting to fly a Warbird. It's my favorite kind of flying. I love Warbirds, so I looked for one. Obviously, cannot afford a P-51, and I investigated around, and Seems to be the CJ6 Nanchang is a very popular Warbird. It is affordable and flies really nice. In this case, again, I asked for help. There is a mechanic that owns CJ6 at the same airport I'm based at, and this time I did a pre-buy inspection with him. This airplane has been fully restored, so it is in really good shape. On radial engines, the oil can accumulate at the bottom cylinders, and if you don't move the propeller so this oil comes out, you can hydrolock it and ruin the engine. This is something that you don't see, and if the previous owner didn't do it, you will buy an airplane with a bad motor. So this was a risk, and the mechanic who did a pre-buy told me the airplane looks great, but I cannot guarantee you that the previous owner was disciplined and moved the prop before every start. This airplane was not flown that much before I bought it, so the first annual was kind of expensive, but nothing major. Then I added the angle of attack indicator. It already came with VGs. Hope you guys like this video, and if you're buying one airplane, good luck in your find and have fun. Please join me on Patreon to support Backcountry 182. It is very easy to join, to be a patron of Backcountry 182. Go to the YouTube channel. On the right hand side there is the link, and then it takes you to the Patreon page. Here you can see all the tiers and what is all about, the support for Backcountry 182 YouTube channel. Also, another way to access the Patreon link is in the description of the video I put in YouTube. On Backcountry 182 channel there is a link for Patreon, so just click on that and it will take you to the page. Thank you for watching, and it will be amazing if you guys are interested and give some support.